That's my bad. following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.
Live for the Darlington Raceway, the track too tough to tame. We get ready to go racing tonight. The 11th race of the Sim500 Xfinity Series season is ready to go green in South Carolina. I'm the captain. We welcome you on this Sunday evening. Of course, the final Sunday before Easter Sunday, so the final race you'll see here until 2 weeks from now as we get ready to go here from a track that was built way back in 1949, right at the same time NASCAR was born. Of course, has hosted Southern 500s ever since 1950 and has been hosting racing of NASCAR style since then and is known as the granddaddy of them all when it comes to the tracks. The first original super speedways, they call it, even though it is all of 1.366 miles. So a lot of great racing coming up here. We'll try to get an interview or two in, but first let's get you the point standings as we enter tonight's race. And look at this, a rookie sits on top of the point standings again. As a matter of fact, two rookies are at the top of the standings. Braxton Deweese and Stephen Miles leading the points right now. Deweese leading by 12 over Miles, Mac McMillan third, Mike Kelly and Anthony Calantoni, the top five right now in the point standings. Carl Lavage, who's coming off a career best third place finish there on Sunday of last week at Dover. He is 11th in points after gaining 8 spots, but the top 16 drivers will get into the points. And as you look down to Gerald Livingston, a lot of guys still in the running as we have less than now 10 races to go before the playoffs kick off. And we will be counting it down, and the pressure is going to be building for a lot of these cars as we go into Darlington here this evening. Should be a fun race to watch, so let's get ready to rock and roll. Now, of course, last week you kind of saw it in the highlight package, that big wreck at Dover, which led to Justin Fuller starting in the back and missing the wreck and working his way back up into victory lane for a second straight week, scoring his fourth Bristol win, and he has been showing, or Bristol Dover win, and he's looking pretty good here tonight at Darlington. And let's get him up here, one of the hottest drivers here so far the last couple of weeks, Justin Fuller. Can we make it 3 in a row tonight? That's if Justin Fuller is here. He might have walked away for a split second to get a drink or whatever. And sometimes I try to pop him up here and it don't work. But either way, we'll wait here and see if Justin shows up. But obviously, this track, two different sides, two different bankings and elements when it comes into the corners. You're going to turn 1 and 2. You've got that sweeping corner of 24 degrees of banking over there. Of course, two different apexes. Then you go into 3 and 4, the more narrow section. That is more of, you got to hit the brakes. And from what I'm hearing tonight, want to run the bottom side a lot tonight in that section of the track, of course, until it rubbers up. But either way, we'll come back and check with Justin here in just a moment as he gets ready to go racing here at the Darlington Raceway. Of course, there's a whole lot of new teams in the Sim500 chat now that I have to adjust to. And as far as I know, he is here now. Did I just hear Justin? Maybe not. But either way, we'll move him there. Is this really the team name for team name now? DUI Incorporated? That's kind of interesting. So we'll check in with him here in a moment. But let's grab another driver up there at the top right now who we have not talked to. You know what? Let's get Carlavage. I believe he's in here. Yeah, let's do that. Jason Carlavage running right now in the 5th position in practice right now. Jay, get a copy? Or did he run away too? Well, either way, he might have went to the bathroom real quick. But qualified about to start. Apparently the microphone down at the track is not working for the drivers. But we'll get ready either way to go racing here tonight. As I want to make sure I get these people on the right team names. All right, qualifying going to go start. So let's get down there to business. Of course, qualifying presented by our friends at 811. No, it's below. Call before you dig. Look at that. The guys are already showing up here in chat. Chris DeWeese showing off the GoDaddy paint scheme of Mark Martin's from back in the heyday that he ran when his little stint there with Hendrick Motorsports. And he is the points leader, so he's going to be ready to show off that car that is right there, the old GoDaddy paint scheme. See the Alan's Art Images watching here tonight. Bully Dog watching tonight, cheering on Mr. McMillan and also Braxton, who is sitting there letting his car collect some dust, it looks like. As here we go, Tommy Ryan going to be the first car. One of the first cars out on track, and of course you'll see them flash by the screen here throughout as it'll switch up to different drivers and so on and so forth. As down the back straightaway, the fastest part of the track. And we'll see if the first lap's the fastest, the second lap's the fastest. We shall see. Wesley Donaldson setting the mark with a 6, but then you see Van Schaik with a 3, Arnold with a 2, as that time should. Wouldn't be surprised we see a 29-second lap, if not pretty close to it, before it's all done. But Eric Arnold, 30-28 with a 4, is the pole sitter. As Tommy down the back straightaway here. Tommy, one that's pretty good on these worn-out surfaced racetracks. Mac McMillan, 30-16 goes to the top. As Ryan comes across the line on lap 2. 30-0-8-6. Pretty good lap there for that 99 car. And now Braxton is on track. Here's the points leader in the 5 car. Alan's Art Images all over the car. Braxton was fast in practice, so by the way, first lap 30-36. As he's about 3/10 off right now as Tommy still at the top with that 0. I mean, it might take a 29. Let's see if Braxton's got it in him. Down the back straightaway into turn 3. Going to let her slide up to the wall maybe. I've been hearing the bottom's actually the faster way through 3. And that's what he's going to do. Wrap that bottom line. Bring it off turn 4. Doesn't get the wall. Good lap here. Should get him up there. Probably not a pole lap though. Second, 30-0-9-9. I never saw it go purple. That's why I assumed that. Great lap though for the 5 car. Tyler Dalton just getting out on track as Tyler and Wesley Donaldson are trying to confuse me, but as some of them know, I actually grew up a Casey Kane fan, along with a Bill Elliott fan, a Chase Elliott fan, anybody in that 9-car type thing. And, well, Tyler's got the Casey Kane throwback on here. Of course, his teammate Wesley Donaldson running a Elliott Sadler / Jeremy Mayfield throwback. And we do have some throwbacks in the race here tonight as Tyler Dalton goes 20th with a 30-34. As he'll climb it down the back straightaway here. Jose Gonzalez up to P11. I see Bobby Wetzel, Stephen Miles just getting out on track. Also Brian Macklin. Dalton brings her off turn 4, crosses the start-finish line for Tyler. 30-12 ends up P3. Good lap for him as Karlovaj ends up 7th. Macklin slides into P2 with a 97. Here's our second place guy in points, Stephen Miles in the Ric Flair car. Ooh, hanging that edge out a little bit. Heard some people say you got to drive 1 and 2 tonight. He's really hanging that edge out. That is not how you're going to do it. And unfortunately, he is going to be stuck there in the 16th position, it looks like. Bobby Wetzel, likely one of the last cars to get a lap in here. As Bobby ends up 24th, so a little bit of a struggle there. Joe Hudson going to try to get a lap in. He's in this red, black, and white 43 car. And he turns her sideways off turn 4. Easy to do. And that'll do it. Tommy Ryan going to be on the pole here, it looks like, as nobody else is out on track that needs to complete a lap. So congratulations to Tommy on scoring the pole award here at the virtual Darlington Raceway on iRacing. Let's go trackside for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, national anthem. Great job as always. We get ready to go racing here for 120 laps around the track with so many nicknames. The Lady in Black, track too tough to tame, the granddaddy of them all. There's so many different track names, nicknames for Darlington Raceway. We know it just straight as Darlington. Starting lineup here for race number 11 of the NC811 Xfinity Series season. Sees Tommy Ryan on the pole, 30.086 second lap. Good lap there for Tommy, as he'll start alongside Brian Macklin. Braxton DeWeese, the points leader. Going to start there in row number 2 alongside him. Tyler Dalton, who continues his trek for 200 career poles in Sim500. He sits at 195 entering tonight's race, and he'll have to wait again until tomorrow night to potentially get 195. Justin Fuller going for the three-peat. Mac McMillan on his outside. Bob Gillenwater, Jason Karlovaj in row 4. Kevin DeBrown and JP Phillips still take, or Mike Kelly in row 5. Row 6, Nelson Rivera, JP Phillips. Row 7, Charles Van Schaik and Jose Gonzalez in row 7. Row 8, Glenn Campbell, Stephen Miles, Anthony Calantoni, and Maximus Molina in row number 9. Row 10, Eric Arnold and Justin Reynolds. Matthew Martell, Chad Coleman in row 11. There must be some relation to Pedro there, maybe. I wonder. John Schweikert and Bobby Wetzel. That's why I paused there for a second. Row 12. Row 13, Joe Hudson, Robert Friery. Scott Simley, Jeff Ryan, Wesley Donaldson, Ron Holyfield, Sean Burke, Kevin Stone, Brian Workman, and Brent Scott, David Comstock, and Josh Parker, the usual guys, going to start in the back. Comstock and Van Schaik actually missed the grid, so they'll start on pit road, likely Randy Oakham-Sigmund and Gerald Livingston. Race information, as mentioned, 120 laps, 3 sets of tires, 2 overtimes, and a race at the Lady in Black, about to go green. Sit back and enjoy a throwback tradition to one of the oldest tracks in all of racing. It is the Darlington Raceway Sunday night here for Sim500, and we're green. Our cameras presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online on Facebook and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com as they get up to speed, and let's see if they can make it. As Van Schaik almost catching the wall there a little bit there with car lavage. Tommy Ryan clears Brian Macklin. DeWeese going to move up to third as the racing of the racetrack begins. The old saying they like to say about this 1.366 mile track is you race the track, not the cars. This is the 8th trip to the Darlington Raceway, and only 3 different winners so far in the first 7 trips. And that is because Daniel Falkingham pretty much held this fort down for about 4 years straight as he went on and won about 6 races in a row at this track. You saw a couple cars hitting the wall there before last season when Larry Pace went to victory lane in 2023. There were a couple of seasons when they went to this track twice. And ever since last year, they've gone to this track 1 time after they shortened up the seasons on the Sunday night side. I mentioned the 89, Maximus Molina. I'm about to do some investigating on this name. See who this guy is, see if there's any relation to Pedro in here. But Maximus in the 89 car, running right behind Stephen Miles, 17th position. So Comstock is still not yet made the green. Ron Holyfield started back there also with Charles Van Schaik, who started on pit road. And obviously going to get into a rhythm here in this race. And that's what this track does. You get into a rhythm and you race the racetrack. Now, let me hit you with this stat right here. Last season, Larry Pace won this race. 0 cautions. At Darlington in this series. 0 cautions. I know I talked a couple weeks ago at Richmond how, there was, no more than 5 cautions in a race until it broke out there at the end. This track here has seen no more than 2 cautions in this series since it came around. Basically, you go back to when Malik Ray, which, by the way, shout out to him on his win at Atlanta a couple weeks ago in the Coke Series. He won the first race in August of 2018 here at this track for Sim500. And from then on, 2 cautions, 2 cautions, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. So don't expect many yellows tonight. Again, I said that a couple weeks ago at Richmond, but still, don't expect many yellows tonight. As up front, here comes the young man, the 20-year-old. Of course, we've seen a 5-car go to victory lane here multiple times. You think of recently, obviously, Kyle Larson. But when you go back to 2003, the Southern 500, it was Terry Labonte's last career victory in that 5-car. Macklin and Dalton back there 3rd and 4th. Fuller there 5th. It's a great racing pretty much all over the track. Look back here, side by side, is the 9 of Bobby Wetzel trying to get around Justin Reynolds. Scott Simley, of course. There's Wesley Donaldson, that Sadler throwback I talked about earlier. And here's Chad Coleman side by side with Molina. And Molina doing the smart thing. Race the track, let Chad go. This track very slick, especially today with the track temp set up the way it is. Saw a lot of cars getting loose in practice and spinning around. Tonight, more likely going to see the same thing here. These cars are just going to get loose around. Doesn't mean they will spin out, but obviously the chances are it could happen. But for our sake, we hope it doesn't happen. So 10 laps about to be complete already as Braxton DeWeese has gone by Tommy Ryan for the lead. So move the 5 car to P1. So first lead change here, and already seeing tires falling off about a half second or so as they go into turn 3 and 4, but everybody pretty much bunched up together here. Great racing. As Kevin DeBrown looks inside Carl Lavage, battle for the 7th position here. Carl Lavage is going to stay with him there into turn 1. Very dangerous move. Oh, Gillenwater gets turned sideways, and he's able to save it. Good save on the force part. He's not going to be too thrilled about that, which kind of an interesting story here. Bob Gillenwater, I learned this week, he's not the only Gillenwater in the world. I actually delivered a package to a guy this week in Indiana. Last name, Gillenwater. Could not make it up. I was like, holy cow. Which, I mean, obviously, common sense in the world of how many million people, there would be more than one Gillenwater in the world. Stephen Miles starting to fall back a little bit. Chad Coleman going to go by the 24 car, and now the 89 of Molina. Looking to pass Stephen Miles here, but pretty impressed right now with Mr. Molina. Again, I don't know anything about him, but looking pretty good here at the start of this race. Get on Jose Speedy Gonzalez here. Jose with John Schweikert back here, and also Eric Arnold, the 31 car. As Jose ripping the fence here. Right up against the wall. This is like the perfect track for this camera, and you hope it don't get broken off, which it won't, thankfully. But 14 laps in here so far. As Jose puts pressure on the 20 of JP Phillips up there in the 13th position. As we complete 14 laps now, Tyler Dalton getting pressured by Mac McMillan at Bully Dog Coffee Company car. Looks like, did Fuller and Macklin just tag team the wall over there? Either way, 88, pretty sporty looking paint scheme. Slides it into 3 and 4 there, just runs the bottom. Tyler just going to let him go as he continues the race to track. As we complete lap number 15 out of 120. Clean and green here so far. Lead about 0.3 of a second right now over Tommy Ryan. And you've got a pretty good group of cars right here within about 0.3 of a second. Then there's a gap back to about 1/10 apiece between a couple other cars here. So, I mean, the pack really not spreading out at all. I mean, let's jump all the way back here to 28. This contact between Fryer and the 01 up into the wall, goes him into 17, and we have caution on the track. Caution out, Sean Burke and Kevin Stone involved. And is this the one caution we get every week, or every race here at Darlington? I mean, this obviously already tops the race from last season. I had 0 cautions, but first caution out. Let's see what happened here to Burke and Stone. Coming through 3 and 4, you see Robert Fryery in the 77 was inside here, and he backs all the gas early, just trying to set the car and side by side into the 01. Again, very tough to go side by side into turn 1 at Darlington. That just unfortunately takes good racecraft, and they come together, and the 01 gets sideways and smashes up into the 17 car that had nowhere to go, bringing out the first caution. But that right there is a product of not racing the racetrack. Watch again here. You see Robert gets out of the gas, but then all of a sudden just gets in there and slides right up into the 01 with the worn out tires. Parker does a good job to miss those at 33 of Scott and a couple others. And we're going to have some cars stay out of the pits here. And we're going to have others on pit road, including the pole sitter, Tommy Ryan. And he will win the race off pit road. As you see there, the top 5 cars stay out. Got some gas only maybe from Tommy and Kevin Brown and Nelson Rivera. And some, looks like 2 to 4 tires, maybe some fuel only here amongst this crew here. This will give us a chance. Let's step away for a quick second here from 811 and come back and get you more racing from Darlington on the Captain Esports Network.
This tree is going to look great here.
Did you call 811 to protect your underground utilities?
I can't wait to see these roses come up.
Dig, dig, dig! Wait, we forgot to call 811.
Before you dig, make sure you can. Call 811 to know what's below. It's up to all of us to protect the ones we love.
All right, pace car about to pull in as we'll go back green here at the Darlington Raceway. A couple of cars staying out. Mac McMillan, Jose Gonzalez, John Schweiker, and Eric Arnold. And Brent Scott did not pit. Got to be careful of tire spin. As McMillan gets a pretty good launch out there. And again, the question, can these newer tires get up here and battle for the lead in this race? It should be relatively quickly. However, obviously this track's a lot tougher you think to pass. Look at that mess. Braxton DeWeese back there 3 wide into turn 3. Got to be careful here. Gonna roll that apron. Still 3 wide through 3 and 4. That's a bingo list item right there, as Jose Gonzalez aborts. Look how he got hit or something and jumped down the line. And he's gonna fall to the back here. Ooh, Fuller getting sideways in that 55, had to catch her. So Fuller trying to battle with Kevin Brown right now. Mike Kelly, Jason Carlavage right there also, along with Tyler Dalton. As we complete lap number 23 next time by, you see Nelson Rivera and others as McMillan's pulled away to 0.2 of a second. But the battle going on here where you see the mix of tires right now going on. Seeing Brent Scott kind of falling back there, got the outside wall off of turn 2. As he, again, one of those cars that stayed out. You see Deweese has gone by, Fuller's gone by, Mike Kelly going by as the comers and goers going through the field here as Brian Macklin has worked his way past Arnold and past Schweikert, and he is the first one on fresh tires in the American Lung Association number 30. Of course, he won Monday night at Bristol in the Cup Series race from 811, so obviously Brian doing a pretty good job here so far. And looking to go right to the outside of McMillan. Going to take this lead over the 88. And there he goes, new leader. So Macklin to the front, and Fuller coming with him here as Arnold and Kelly try to battle with him. And Braxton DeWeese, unscheduled pit stop here. He's got heavy damage on the right front. What has happened to the 5 car, the points leader? Must have got a meatball from this or something. That car's killed. See if I can find us a replay on this. But the 5 car on pit road, gonna probably just get his damage fixed, hopefully. And it's kind of hard to do to have the craft to take out your, or take off your tires so that you don't change them accidentally and be down to 1 set of tires the rest of the race. But he's going to lose a lap here with ease as he sits here on pit road. I'm still trying to find what potentially happened here. It's going to be somewhere in this area. Oh, right there, contact with the 31 of Eric Arnold. Let me get you a better view of this. Braxton to the out. Oh, netcode. Maybe not. Well, yeah, netcode. That's definitely netcode. They come together and into the wall. So there's going to be some unhappy drivers. And Braxton, one of the faster cars in practice, unfortunately falls victim. All right, so top 3 drivers change tires at lap 18. Macklin, Fuller, and Kelly, the leaders. And then Mac McMillan back here, 4th position now. John Schweikert, Jason Carlavage, Tyler Dalton, Glenn Campbell up to the top 10, along with Cal and Tony. And then Eric Arnold back there in the 10th position. As Dalton makes a move inside of Schweikert. Braxton did get back on track, by the way, a 30-second stop. He sits about a lap and a half down. Make that 2 laps down now in the 36th position. But as mentioned in chat by you guys, positive attitudes, we love it. Long race to go. Everybody looks like being patient for the most part. Obviously a couple mistakes here and there amongst the cars, but Miles getting up there, getting a Darlington stripe. Might as well get that out of the way while you have time. Back in the heyday here. Guys, look at this. Maximus Molina passing Tommy Ryan for 14th. Back in the heyday, in the old cars, the Cup Series used to actually put boards in the right side, 2x4s and 4x4s, and even 2x6s in the right side of the car to try to build a little bit of a foundation, so when you went up there and got the wall, it didn't really hurt the car. Of course, that later was outlawed and stuff like that. The new cars came out, and you don't see that anymore. Back here, nice little mess with Joe Hudson and Martell and Jeff Ryan and these guys. Just how close to the wall do we get? Turn 1, hit the apex. We want the car to slide right up to the wall like Jeff Ryan just did. And the reason why you want the car to slide up the track there is because of the apex of turn 2. If you stay low through 1 and 2, or through turn 1, you actually can miss turn 2, and that wall over there That's the infamous wall that Harry Hyde, played by Robert Duvall in Days of Thunder, told Tom Cruise, you can't go to the outside in turn 4, because at this point, at that point of the recording of the movie back in the early 90s and late 80s, this was the actual front stretch as caution comes out. Stephen Miles, Scott Simley. Miles looks like towing it back to the pits, so first and second in the points, already in trouble here. Early at Darlington. Oh, Miles thought he was clear, and Simley was still there at the right rear. Miles took the assumption there, which, I mean, it's easy to do here, is you go in there and you clear the car going into turn 1, and you try to slide up, and unfortunately the 12 was still there at the right rear and hooked him into the wall. And Miles, unfortunately, a lot of damage on that 24, takes it behind the wall, and a lot of cars on pit road here. Macklin, McMillan, a lot of cars that did not pit at that first caution, they're in here. You got some cars that did pit at that first caution. If they're changing tires right here, they're left with one set of tires. That Tommy Ryan here putting, which, actually, let me back this up, because Tommy Ryan took fuel only, I think, in that first stop. So here, these guys are taking tires, and that'll leave with 2 sets, most of them, with 83 laps to go, and one stop easily the rest of the way. All right, let's, Fuller's here now. I know he is because, well, he's racing. So let's bring up the driver of the 55 here, going for 3 wins in a row. Now on the Xfinity side. Fuller, you got a copy, bud?
Yeah, but I got a mouthful of popcorn. What's up?
Hey, you got any for me?
Nope.
That sounds about right. All right, so it's probably not good for the broadcaster to talk with his mouth full, is it?
No.
No, I didn't think so. How's the car so far, man? You've had to work your way up there through the field a little bit.
I'm just riding. It'd be nice if we could stop having 20 lap runs and cautions, because really split the tire strategy now. So at least for me, obviously it helps those guys that didn't pit the first time. But I'm always an advocate to have a couple extra sets of tires, especially at these types of tracks. So kind of puts us in a silly box. But these guys would just figure it out and quit wrecking, and it'd be all right. Pretty easy task to ask for there, I would think. But either way, man, obviously good to see you up here at the front. 3 wins in a row, potentially here. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, that'd be good. I like the track. It does feel good. The car drive's pretty good, so we got a shot at it. Just got to make sure we're on top of the strategy. All right, man. Well, best of luck. Enjoy your popcorn and butter or no butter. White cheddar. White, nice. Can't go wrong with that. Thanks, man. Yep, have a good one. Hey, you too. Justin, I'll move myself. Okay. Justin Fuller's going to move himself. Thank you. I probably put him in the wrong channel earlier. Let's see if I did. Oh, I so did. And, yeah, as he'll get ready to go green here at lap number 39. I got a bunch of new channel names I've noticed in Discord here for the setup here. They all use, like, the same channels. Unlike you got some series out there that'll have different Discords for different series and stuff like that. This one channel and everything. And you got all the different team names and so on and so forth. So, all right, should get one to go this time by as Fuller going to lead him to the green. Mike Kelly now up in second. Jason Carlovage, Tyler Dalton, Glenn Campbell, your top 5. The first person that's going to be on tires will be Brian Macklin in the 10th position. And there he is. You heard Fuller talking about maybe being at a little bit of a disadvantage now. I want to remind you that sim500.com is your website to check out all the great things going on, of course, in the series. From the Xfinity Series tonight, presented by 811, to the Cup Series on Monday nights, trucks on Wednesdays,
You got Midnight Thunder Friday nights. You got the GOAT Series doing some stuff too as part of Sim 500. And a lot of great things going on. Make sure you check out sim500.com. And you can get signed up for some of the great racing here. Some of the best fixed racing you will see on iRacing right here at Sim 500 as we go green lap number 39 into lap 40 as Fuller leads them. Patience playing a virtue right here mid-pack. Different strategies, everybody trying to get up to speed, give each other room as they sprint out 2-3 wide. Of course, we'll talk about this race and others when we recap the week of league racing on the Scalicast podcast tomorrow night. We'll do the first half of the podcast, of course, reviewing all the races and so on and so forth. That'll be ready to go coming up Tuesday night. And we'll have a guest in studio on Thursday, or on Tuesday, I should say, for the Thursday episode that'll get released. But look for the Scalicast. If you've not downloaded it, you can do so, of course, on Spotify, on iHeartMedia, and in Podbean, as Callan Tony kind of scrapes the wall going into turn one as he lets Macklin go on by. John Schweikert there in the one. You see McMillan back there in the 88. Callan Tony unfortunately falling back here just a little bit. Arnold making a move inside of Gillenwater. Of course, Kevin DeBrown now there as we get the comers and goers here. Those who have been able to save tires, those who maybe have new ones. As Donaldson off the pace here a little bit. Did he get the wall maybe coming out of 2? Gets put 3 wide, lets him go. The WBD diecast number 91 is 3 wide with Dalton now. And he gets into the 30 and they get into the wall. McMillan with damage, and there goes Kevin DeBrown into Wesley Donaldson. This is going to be big. Bob Gillenwater with damage. So is the 89. And caution out again. Different strategies playing a role here. Who has tires and who doesn't? Let's see what happens. It all started 3 wide up here with Tyler Dalton. Ryan Macklin, John Schweikert were there. Macklin clears, and unfortunately, bam, together they go. McMillan gets some damage, and watch out for that hood. Gillenwater gets a piece as mentioned. Oh, the 20 plows into Kevin DeBrown. Good job by a lot of these people checking up as Macklin toes back to the pits. Tough to call there. Eric Arnold added him to the damage list. Couldn't tell if Macklin came up or Dalton. I guess we'd have to watch the lines on the track. That's probably the best way to do this. But that's a pretty big wreck right there. These boys in the Xfinity Series have been causing some big ones here lately. We'll let you guys judge here. So here's a good way to judge this. Look at the lines. On the track here, see Tyler's between the second and third groove. We'll slow-mo it. Macklin coming up across the lines and up into Dalton, but you see Dalton's coming up the track too. Of course, it's tricky when it's coming off the corner there, but just racing, unfortunately, there. I mean, if anything, you could say Macklin came up the track, but I don't think you can place 100% blame on that, but that's just my opinion. I mean, look out for that hood. Supposed to have tethers on those things. Anybody not remember the 97 500? I mean, come on. was a big wreck. And anytime you have a big wreck, by the way, a good vantage point. As we're going to watch this again, let's go on board Brian Wortman. And Wortman just checks out way on back here. You see the wreck way up ahead. Everybody kind of scattered, doing a good job of missing the wreck. All right, so Fuller leading now lap 46 in this race, and we're going to take a chance. We'll step away for another break real quick, come back and get you more racing here at Darlington Raceway, as we still have 70 laps to go. Sim500 on the Captain Esports Network.
When do you plan on putting in that new fence we've been talking about since last summer?
I guess I could start tomorrow.
Protect the ones you love and protect your buried utilities by contacting 811 before you dig, either by phone, the web, or the NC811 app. Know what's below before you dig. Visit nc811.org to learn more.
All right, back we are here at the Darlington Raceway, as we are 74 laps away from the checkered flag being waved. Lap 47 about to be complete. Justin Fuller, Mike Kelly leading. As you look from the fan cam here through 3 and 4, as they come to the green flag here, and a good opportunity for those to turn it up from Darlington. Cars. And caution right back out. Carnage. Darlington not playing nice after the first 6 years of having 1 or 2 cautions a race. All of a sudden we're racking them up here tonight. I saw one car in the wall, was kind of stuck up against it, and then from there saw a couple other cars pound it. Let's see. Oh, right there, Wetzel gets into the back of Friary, and then right there Nelson Rivera gets turned. So 2 cautions and 2 wrecks in 1, bringing out the caution for the 4th time here. I wonder if like the urgency of the cautions is, or the urgency of like all these yellows happening are causing more people to get the yellows out. I mean, again, I mentioned the lack of cautions the first couple seasons. There's the hook there on Friary. And Rivera gets turned with the 43 of Hudson. Gillenwater almost gets a piece of that too. Matter of fact, let's go on board with Rivera real quickly here. Oh, and then Wetzel had to come back on the track and just kind of parks the bus there. So nowhere to go for Nelson, unfortunately, there, as he becomes kind of the innocent bystander, he and Hudson there, bringing out this caution. cars coming back to pit road, maybe to top off the fuel cells. Trying to see if they can make it from this caution potentially. If this race were to all of a sudden go green, which, I mean, obviously has done in our past. And you see those cars come to pit road. So let's go back to the last caution. And on board with the 89 car here. Just carnage there, unfortunately. Max's first race, I believe, in the series. Not sure if he's run here before. Of course, with the last name Molina, I have to check and see if there's a Pedro connection here somewhere, but I'm guessing so. But unfortunately, the cautions have racked up a little bit here. 4, and we're not even halfway yet in this race. What is done is definitely mixed up this field a little bit here. As John Schweikert now up to the 3rd position. Got Jason Karlovage and Glenn Campbell. Those guys have not been to pit road since lap 18. So they're just sitting there letting these laps go and keeping a set of tires aside, ready to use them whenever. And of course, you got some guys that pit at 36, some at 44 and 45 and 50. And so on and so forth. That would be 68 laps to try to go on fuel here. That's a pretty tough ask. Now, next Sunday, this series is actually off because of Easter. And we'll return in 2 weeks back in Daytona. As we have 8 races after tonight left in the regular season. We'll be off to next Sunday night, then it's Daytona, Kansas, Pocono, the Milwaukee Mile, and Nashville Super Speedway to get us through into the month of May, which will be here before we know it. Randy Yoakum, that Virginia 811 car, battling the South Carolina 811 car. And you see the 88 of McMillan got himself a new nose put back on that car. Now, these couple of cautions have been perfect for the 5 of Braxton DeWeese. He's gotten the lucky dog both times. And here he is, that 5 car still got some damage. But the points leader back up to 25th position now. And looking to potentially try to help out with the damage already in this race and not lose as many points and potentially keep the points lead, especially with the issues to Stephen Miles in this race. Miles, unfortunately, is going to finish right now, unless he gets back on track, dead last out of the 38 cars that took the green. Up front, a battle for the lead shaping up. I promise you, John Schweikert's to the right here. There he is, trying to get the lead. And into turn 1, Fuller lets him go. And John Schweikert takes the lead. As Karlovage looking at Kelly. Kelly running the track. That is how you Darlington. Let the 2 cars go and just sit back. Because eventually you'll probably catch back up to him and pass him. The Coleman going by also. That is the definition right there of racing the track. If you do not race the track, the lady will bite you. As it's done already a couple cars tonight. I mean, I know it's kind of a cliche, but I mean, there are suspicions and rumors out there that you actually have drivers that think that this track actually picks the winners. It's not a matter of being the best car. The track will literally say, oh, the 89 is going to victory lane tonight, and somehow the 89 wins. Kind of weird how that works. As Brent Scott underneath Kelly, taking the 6th spot away. Now Campbell there, back there with Gonzalez, and Jeff Ryan having a good run in that 3 car right now. Of course, it would not be a Sim500 race if we mentioned the blank black car of Josh Parker that has started dead last and runs up here in the 11th position as Parker continues to do what he does every single week when it's not in the playoffs. Start in the back and pass the cars and work your way up and see what kind of finish you can get. There's Jose Gonzalez inside of Glenn Campbell. As Campbell lets him go. These guys that pitted in lap 18, obviously sitting at, with a couple of cautions, about 40 lap tires. Doing a good job of holding strong up here in the top 10. And the newest tires right now out of the bunch, Josh Parker at lap 44. He is in 10th right now himself. But you got Mac McMillan here at lap 49 on pit road. He's 12th. And a few others trying to work their way up here through the field right now. As Bobby Wetzel comes to pit road, so some damage on the 9 car. Unfortunately hurting him. Yikes! Tony and Martell going side by side into the corner. When you have Eagles colors and a Giants car next to you, I guess that's just a must, huh? The Talking Giants podcast on YouTube. They were actually out at the Bristol race last Sunday. Calantoni was with Justin Pennick and those guys there. Oh! Calantoni gives him a bumper. I don't think you're supposed to do a bump and run at Darlington, but that works, I guess. Dalton behind him. Probably like, hey, you're not supposed to do that here, Anthony, but okay. Good save on Matthews' part. Martell continues to send it in there. He has every right to do that. That was... I'm trying to think off the top of my head. When's the last time we saw a bump and run at Darlington? I don't know if we've ever... I gotta think about this one. I mean, was the Kurt Busch move technically a bump and run type of thing that just didn't work? I don't know. But look at Chad Coleman to second. The Iron Man. Trying to break that streak and go to victory lane. Unfortunately, Schweikert is driven off to McBee. Or one of those other towns they mentioned on the DBC podcast that you say you're not supposed to drive more than the speed limit going through. As Kelly falling back here, he's got some older tires on that car. Lets Jeff Ryan go by. His brother Tommy going by. Campbell's got to cross him over. And if I'm McMillan, I might be careful with Calantoni behind you. In the 12th position right now, of course, got himself a couple of Xfinity wins this season. Of course, Daytona. You think of the Richmond race where he stole that one away from Braxton DeWeese. And, oh, there's a stripe. And the camera survived. Appreciate the viewers who have joined us here this evening. I think we got over 20 a couple times, so appreciate all of you. If you're watching over on the Facebook page, if you're from Twitter, if you're watching on YouTube right now, of course, we appreciate everybody joining us on the Captain Esports Network. Make sure you get us a subscription, or a subscribe, I should say, please, and a follow, and be a part of all the leagues that we broadcast here on the network. Of course, tomorrow night we'll be on the air at 8:15 Eastern Time, the Cup Series in action. Series presented by 811, so we look forward to seeing you for the Monday Night Racing, the Cup Series, as they race at the Rock tomorrow night. So we go from this historic track to one kind of similar to it, the V-shaped Rockingham Speedway or North Carolina Motor Speedway, whatever you know it as from the past. That'll be tomorrow night. Look at Great Scott, as Brent getting past Fuller for third. Easily his best run so far in this series. So now this is going to get interesting as we start to think about pit stops here with 50 laps to go. And who's going to do what? So let's... Oh, never mind. We're all just going to come to pit road at once because we got caution. J.P. Phillips, the Spider-Man, has hit the wall. Phillips was racing right around the 19th position. Uh-oh. I see Reynolds and Arnold around him, so let's see if any of those guys had to do with this or Phillips lost back in. Let's see. Leaders all should be on pit road here. Phillips is right up there against Arnold's left rear. Eric goes into 3 and 4. And they just get into each other. See if there was some net code involved in this somehow. Running very tight here. I mean, Arnold right there, middle groove. And Phillips is down, and Phillips just went right up into him. Arnold held his groove, so good for him on that part, but unfortunately, damage on both cars, and caution comes out. As here we go with pit stops, and we have some cars staying out. They want to keep that second set of tires on the side for now. As you see, Tony Dalton stay out. They already pulled the strategy move at Vegas in winning themselves a race, so why not pull it here? As Brian Wortman, I think he was just trying to lead a lap. That's what he usually does in this situation. But everybody on pit road. Schweikert wins the race off of pit road. Oh, good catch, Mark. I didn't even think about that. I'm so used to... Mark Creighton corrected me. Thank you, Mark. Mojica is Pedro's last name. Molina is another name. So thank you on that. It's so easy to be confused, but I don't know. For some reason, I thought there was some kind of connection there. But nope. Pedro Mojica and Maximus Molina. I can't even get them right. But thank you, Mark, for the correction there. Let's talk to the Jersey boy here that's leading this race, Mr. Calantoni. As Anthony joins us up here in the front, man, you realize you're not supposed to put the bumper to somebody at Darlington, right?
Yeah, I know. kind of a little mistake on my part. I kind of lost track of where I was going in there in the one there, but yeah, it was just a little mistake.
Well, you wow, I was trying to think of a game off the top of my head. Being a Giants guy, you looked a little bit like let's see, how about Justin Tuck and a couple others trying to tackle Vince Young a few years ago in that game against the Titans. Before you got into this race session night at Darlington, and obviously you got some advice and looking pretty good tonight.
Yeah, it's just I'm just taking my time really with it and just trying to keep it in one piece. A little nervous here staying out. I didn't want to burn a set there, and yeah, we're just going to try and hold on and try and let these guys go. Hopefully they're patient enough.
Obviously, yeah, see Tyler's kind of left you alone out there, but needless to say, yeah, the 84 looking pretty good here, so best of luck, and don't spin them.
Yeah, hopefully we get a yellow here around 80 to or 90 to 100 here.
We'll have to see, man. But hey, Talking Giants looking pretty good there out front.
Yes, it is, Chris.
84 of Anthony Calantoni up front. Yeah, at least he admit it was a mistake. He still picks on me for the Friday night Madness series a couple seasons ago when I found a way from 9th to 1st in the Trial at Talladega to win a race. And the way I found out was by hitting the 8th place car and playing dominoes all the way up to 1st place. Didn't mean to, but it happens. All right, coming back to the green with 45 laps to go. Anthony Calantoni, John Schweikert, Justin Fuller, Chad Coleman, Brent Scott, all new tires except for that 84. As they get into the restart zone, spinning the tires, got to be careful. Green flag out. Good so far. Coleman doing a good job being patient there with him. Oh, Jose Gonzalez into the wall. That didn't look as bad as I thought it was about to look. Green stays out, but Jose gets turned. And I was ready for Schnell to go flying everywhere off that hit. We stay green. All right, attempt number 2. Let's try to turn it up. You see Calantoni has fallen all the way back to the 16th position as Schweikert has a 1.2-second lead over Justin Fuller. Chad Coleman up to third. Everybody kind of spread out right now for the most part. 8:15 Eastern time with Kevin and I. Six cars on the lead lap. See, by far broken the record for most cautions in a race at Darlington in the Xfinity Series. A lot of different strategies and so on and so forth. Back here with Tommy Ryan, who had his struggles here. Tommy Ryan's in the 17th position here. Track position is not working in his favor right now. Like he's going to sit back. For that caution, I think earlier, he spent a minute and a half on pit road. Either that or he had to go use the lube. When you have some cautions in a race, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Problem is on these tracks like this size, caution lap's only about 50 seconds. You got to get there quick and get back. Not lose a lap. Battle here starting to shape up as Fuller and Coleman and Karlovac, who's having another great run. Brent Scott's hanging on in that 33 car. Jose Gonzalez. He checked up and Parker got him. Yeah, see, I thought that was going to be a lot worse of a lick than it was. Gonzalez, unfortunately, now is 30th, and he is only 9 laps down in this race. I'll remind you again, tomorrow night, the Scalacast 14th and 15th episodes this week going to be released. And looking forward to talking about this race, talking about the Cup race today, which had a little bit of drama in it. Not spoiling anything, there weren't any actual cautions outside of stages in the race, but still saw some drama, especially afterwards with a couple drivers and so on and so forth. We'll talk about that. The IndyCar race at Thermal. Somebody actually posted on Twitter earlier today that that was the worst all-star race format, or the worst all-star race of all time. I was like, that's interesting. Saw that comment today. F1 raced, and man, we actually are going to be able to talk more than 10 seconds about an F1 race tomorrow. I cannot believe this. Oh, Parker and Mack. Oh, getting close there. We'll record it tomorrow. We'll have it for you Tuesday on Spotify, iHeartMedia, and the guest segment works out well. I got a pretty good one this week. We'll have to see. Look at Jason Karlovac take the third position from Chad Coleman. As we come to 30 laps to go. on Jeff Ryan. Joe Hudson. Martel. Starting the race on pit road back here in the SpongeBob car. And Randy Yoakum battling for 14th right now. Trying to watch the times here a little bit. See Karlovaj, the fastest car up there in the top 5 right now with a 75. Schweikert ran an 80 and an 89 from Fuller. It's going to be a kind of battle for the lead here potentially as we get longer into the run here. You got to wonder if some cars are just better shaped than the others as Braxton DeWeese comes back to pit road. Did the motor go south on the 5 finally, or something else going wrong? But just a rough night at the office for the top 2 in points. You're going to see a little bit of a Yahtzee shuffle, if you will, at the top of the point standings after tonight. But the good news is you still got 8 races after tonight before we get into playoff mode. Yoakum and Martel battle now, 13th, 12th, and 13th positions here. Gillenwater's running the old fast way around here. Believe it or not, when this track was built back in 1950, of course, you remember the cars that they ran back then, the Hudson Hornets and stuff like that. The top portion of the track here, where everybody runs now, was supposed to be the slow lane. They set it up where the bottom part of the track was supposed to be the way to get around it. And everybody ran the top side if they were off the pace, just to be out of the way. Well, of course, as common sense came into play and realized, hey, the cars on banking will make faster speeds, it turned into the absolute opposite. But if you actually go to NASCAR's Classics website, you can watch some of the old Southern 500s as the 81 and 43 touch, or 51, sorry. It's funny, you can watch those cars go down to turn 1 and all the different corners, and they're running every group from the inside wall to the outside wall. And of course, at that point, Darlington was actually a different size track, and it was slightly different than what it looked like today. After these two having a little argy-bargy amongst each other, watching this fight here. You got Brent Scott, Josh Parker up here for 6th. Nice pass by Yoakum, moving up to the 11th position. Lead is getting a little bit smaller up front. As the one is Schweikert getting a little, I'm sorry, that's, getting mixed up there. It's Eric Arnold in the 31 car, the lap car there. Getting a little out of shape off turn 2 as Coleman catches him in the absolute wrong spot, and it's actually turn 4. This is turn 2. The old turn 4 is Eric Arnold getting loose again. I was starting to say earlier when we talked about Days of Thunder, the way this track used to be is McMillan takes advantage of Coleman, had to get out of the gas for Arnold trying to get the position here. Of course, this used to be the back straightaway at Darlington. Coleman's going to give it up. So when the character played by Robert Duvall told Tom Cruise, hey, we got 4 special sets of tires, and you can make it if you go to the outside in turn 4. That turn 2 over there is what used to be turn 4. And you do not want to be on the outside. You want to basically run the apex right down onto the white line in turn 2 and be able to slide it off the corner, or else you are going to knock that wall down and it's going to hurt. And all that because of a minnow pond. At the owners of the track, the farmer next door said, hey man, you can do whatever you want. Build whatever track you want there. You just don't mess with my minnow pond. And that's why we got the egg shape today. Oh, Brent Scott getting a little free there off turn 2, and that allows Campbell and Kelly to go by. At least Kelly's going to try to clear him. And believe it or not, they did get the minnow pond in iRacing. With the right shot, I could probably show it to you. Off turn 2, or what used to be the turn 4 section there, the back straightaway here. And the reason why they flipped the track, by the way, there's a highway right off of turn 2. Right there, you see it in the 3. It's a highway. I think it's maybe US 1 or something like that. So they wanted to flip the track so that they could make bigger grandstands for the crowd. What is 51 and 43 are playing tag with each other here almost. As up here, battle as McMillan and Coleman continue to fight for 4th. Schweikert's been able to hold off his lead at 0.7 of a second. Justin Fuller there 2nd, trying to win his 3rd straight race. Karlovage 3.6 seconds back, and then you're back to this battle, which we're starting to see Glenn Campbell come into picture, and it's kind of interesting. Campbell, I mean, another guy that seemed kind of lost at the beginning when practice was going on. I was in the channel there's in Discord, and Glenn's like, what are you guys doing setting-wise, and what are you guys doing on long run? This is my tires. And I'm like, oh, that's never good. But Glenn's doing a great job, 6th position, and that trans service number 44. As Coleman trying to get around McMillan there in that 88 car. You can just hear them with the egg, no pun intended, under the throttle there, keeping it from spinning out. Car gets very light on its feet, as Boyer likes to say. Campbell's trying to chase that battle down. And oh, by the way, something happened to Fuller because Karlovage. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah, Karlovage got by Fuller for 2nd. I think I misread how far Karlovage was back, but hey, it happens. So Jason up to 2nd. Can he challenge Schweikert for the lead here? I mean, you're saying there's a chance. I mean, he's about a 10th or so faster than the 1 right now. And obviously that big gap of 4 seconds back to McMillan. Deweese, by the way, back on the track for the fans of him, 28th position. And he is unfortunately 3 or 4 laps down, so that must have been a scheduled pit stop, actually. I thought he might have been off the pace or something. So look at this, the 60. Got the fishing pole out. He's reeling in that 1 car. $12 laps to go. Still plenty of time. There's something to happen here. here starting to shape up. Look at this, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th all under a blanket. You can add 4th in there too now. As McMillan's falling back to Campbell. Coleman, who's lost a position to Campbell, and then there's Datua Kelly. And all these guys right here battling. Starting to see the guys that are struggling down the older tires. This is the longest run in the race we've had. So for John Schweiker, he has never won a Sunday Series race here at Sim500. He's looking to get his first career win. But he is being chased down by Karlovaj, who, by the way, is looking for his first series win. And that lead is gone. Here comes the 60 car. How many times we saw Mark Martin win a Xfinity/Busch Series race here back in the day? And here he is in the 60 car. 8 laps to go. Passing's one thing, catching him's another. He's done the catching part, now the passing part. Now at Sim500 for Schweikert, he actually does have one series win. So he's looking for a second win in his career here in this series, which hasn't been many starts. That win actually came at the Legacy Texas Motor Speedway in October last year in a truck. And Schweikert looking to go to victory lane here again tonight, which would be the first, of course, Xfinity win, but the second in Sim500 in his career. And as for Karlovaj, who's looking here, trying to back it out that corner early, going to try to get the run off, trying to stay off that wall at the same time. Comes down to who's going to want it more here. 5 to go. As for Karlovaj, as he's going to slide up and take the lead through 3 and 4. Makes the pass with 4 laps to go. Does Schweikert got anything for him? Now Karlovaj, this is like matching numbers here, as he's got the same one win in Sim500, and it did not come in his B car, as I mentioned. His one win came at Dover literally 16 days ago in the Trans-Service Truck Series on Wednesday night. And he is looking to do it again tonight in the Xfinity car with 3 to go. As Ryan trying to get around Brent Scott now. This is for 10th. Karlovaj last week went out there and scored a top 3 finish at Bristol. And obviously his momentum's starting to really get going in this series. As we see 2 to go. Cars off the pace there, and Coleman had to adjust to one of them, and Kelly's going to get momentum from it. Coleman able to hold him off, though, off the corner. As Jason Karlovage bringing it through 3 and 4, he's going to see the white flag if he can get back to the line here. And 1 lap to go here at Darlington. Two drivers racing for their first win in the 811.org Xfinity Series. Fighting hard, but Karlovage saved his tires the most and was able to take the lead when it counts, as he's going to come through 3 and 4 in just 16 days after he scored his first Truck Series win at Sim500. He has his first Xfinity win as Karlovage scores the win at Darlington. Schweikert second, Fuller third. Coleman holding off Kelly for 6th. Something tells me he's probably pretty good at doing these donuts. Maybe. He tried to turn sideways and straightened it back out. All those years we used to see the 60 of Mark Martin take that Winn-Dixie car to victory lane. At places like The Rock, that will be at tomorrow night for the Cup Series. Here at Darlington, of course, Jeff Burton, when he always ran that Gain number 9 car, would whoop up on the field. It was a couple times that Burton led like all the laps at Darlington, I think, in that Gain number 9 car. As we take a look at the final results, as Karlovage puts himself in the victory column here this season on the Xfinity side, holding off John Schweikert, who's getting ever so close to his first win. Justin Fuller finishes 3rd. Glenn Campbell and Mac McMillan end up your top 5. Chad Coleman finishes 6th. Mike Kelly 7th. Charles Van Schaik with a top 10 finish. Scott Simley and Tommy Ryan end up top 10. Josh Parker missing out in 11th. Nelson Rivera 12th. Brent Scott, Matthew Martell, and Joe Hudson end up the top 15 in the field here tonight. 16th, Justin Reynolds, Gerald Livingston 17th, Jeff Ryan 18th, Brian Wortman 19th, Tyler Dalton ends up 20th with Ron Holyfield at 21st, Randy Oakham 22nd, Anthony Calantoni 23rd with Doug Sigmund and Eric Arnold at 24th and 25th. 26th, Wesley Donaldson 27th, Bob Gillenwater 28th, Braxton DeWeese, Sean Burke 29th, and Kevin Stone 30th, Bobby Wetzel 31st, Jose Gonzalez 32nd, J.P. Phillips, 23rd, 24th, or 34th, I should say, to Robert Fryery, Kevin DeBrown, 35th. 36th, Maximus Molina, not Mojica. Brian Macklin, 37th. Stephen Miles, unfortunately, the last place finisher of cars that started the race here tonight. David Comstock, I think, got caught at that south of the border place. At the south of the border between Georgia and South Carolina. All right, let's talk to some drivers. We'll start with the top 3 finishers here this evening. Justin Fuller ends up in that 3rd position here. Obviously, the streak ends at 2 tonight, but Justin, you put together another great race and get a top 3 out of it.
Yeah, we'll take it. I don't know how John held on as long as he did there at the end. I kind of just let him go, save my stuff, and we got tight behind him when I started reeling back in, got in his wake, and I tried to move around, and ultimately I just burned my rear off somehow. But it's all good. We got a 3rd place finish, another great points night. If you take away Atlanta, when I got 36th, I'm averaging a second place finish for the last 5 races. So, uh, I'm down in the points still. I missed half the races so far, pretty much this season. They just updated the points. I'm up to 24th now, so
Okay.
we're making a climb. We gotta get to the top 16 though, so we're really locked in, and focused, and trying to do a good job here and get all the points we can get.
And obviously, the consistency you're doing is definitely the trick here. Tonight, obviously, had all those cautions early, which hurt you. But in the end, I mean, I guess the tires kind of worked itself out, and you were able to battle through that issue.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you could consider that what cost me the race because the clean air.
That's fair.
Sure, you can't guarantee that, right? But John had clearly he had leapfrogged with tires and got in front of me. I never got back by him again. So, but it's all good. He ran a good race. He didn't make any mistakes. So nothing against him. He ran a great race. He was fast. So, but it's just track position so big here, and having that clean air is just it's so crucial.
Yeah.
I just didn't have it there at the end. So
Is what it is, unfortunately. How's that popcorn, by the way?
oh, it's delicious. I still got half a bag left, but we're gonna have a few more kernels before we go to bed here, and a shot of Crown Apple.
I like that part. Great job tonight, man. Some shout outs who we like to.
Yeah, send a shout out to all the Sim500 admins for what they do. Thanks to NC811 for sponsoring the series. Thanks to all the admins. Thanks to you for putting on the broadcast. I'll go back and watch this tomorrow. Thanks to everybody that watched. Thanks to Transon for always keeping me looking fresh out here on the racetrack with my unit scheme. Thanks to all my teammates at Aftermath Motorsports. I only had 2 tonight. One wrecked himself out early, and Jason got the victory. So I kind of let him go. I saw him coming really hard. He did a really good job saving his tires, so I let him go. And I was either hoping he would either run him down and win, or they would get together racing each other and wreck, and then I would get the win. So kind of played that card a little bit, but that's all right. Thanks to everybody that watched. Hopefully it was a good race. I know we had a few yellows there at the beginning, but hopefully at the end of the race there we made up for that. So hope everybody has a good Easter next week. I know we're off next week, and then we come back to Daytona.
How cool is it to see your teammate go to the victory lane there?
Oh, it's great. Jason's always been a good sim racer. He took a quite a long retirement there for a while, and now he's back, and he's getting back into the groove of things, and he's made himself from mid to back top 10 car to contending for wins weekly. So it's pretty cool to see him. This is his second win now at Sim500. So congratulations to him, and he's got plenty more coming.
Absolutely, man. Well, great job tonight to you, and have a good Easter, bud.
Thanks, you too.
Yes, sir. Justin Fuller finishing in the 3rd position tonight, and some good words there to his teammate Carl Lavanche, who obviously goes to victory lane here this evening, and that's right behind Mr. Schweikert, who finishes in the 2nd position, who's ever getting so close. And I guess there was a couple things guaranteed here tonight, John. Was the point there at the end of the race that one of you two were going to get your first Xfinity win, and one of you were going to get your second Sim500 win. Just unfortunately, you fell up a little short.
Yeah, I burned my right rear up a little bit too much, and turn 2, I didn't have the drive that Jason did. He looked like he saved his tires just a little bit more, and then I messed up off of 2 and got way out of shape and about wrecked both of us. And at that point, I was like, man, it ain't worth it to send it down into 3 on his outside and risk both of us up in the wall crash. So unfortunately, didn't get to race for the win, but I think a second's pretty solid here tonight. Moved up in the points, led the most laps, and even set the fastest lap tonight. I'm pretty happy with that.
And you almost pulled the quad off there. But, yeah, obviously a night where you had the top 2 in points get tangled up early in the race, so it allowed you to move up 6 positions to 13th. So now you're starting to place yourself up there in the battle to get into the playoffs pretty comfortably, but obviously still plenty of racing to go here. Is there anything you could have done different with that right rear, or was it just your driving style, or did you expect more yellows? What caused you to kind of burn it up there?
Yeah, it was. It honestly was turn 3 and 4. I noticed like kind of a little bit in the run. I changed my lineup because I love like being right up by that wall, but
Right.
I was actually burning more on my right front up. So I was taking this aggressive hard brake in, stay wrap right around the line there. But it was kind of burning the right rear, and I'm the type of driver I'd rather be loose than tight any day. So it is what it is. Still pretty happy with this race, and overall I thought it was pretty clean. I know I got into a little skirmish earlier mid race with Brian Macklin, I don't think I did anything wrong, but we were definitely 3 wide, and I was just trying to give plenty of room. Unfortunate that a caution came out there because it was starting to get interesting.
You mentioned running the top side tonight, which is interesting because a couple people I talked to tonight said that they felt actually that running the bottom was making the right front wear a little bit more than the top side was, and you saw the opposite.
Yeah, so if you turn 3, you could really drive it in and just let it roll. And if you did that much, like it would burn up your right front. But I was aggressively braking
Okay.
and keeping it from just chattering the front, and then using throttle to keep it yawed out.
Gotcha.
Where when I was up by the wall in practice and really doing 20-lap runs, I just couldn't keep that speed that I could on the bottom. So that's why I switched my line.
Right. It worked out, man. Unfortunately, just one spot short, but you still finished second. And a good points night, as you mentioned, moving up 6 spots to 13th. We'll send some shout-outs whoever you like to, bud.
Yeah, again, as always, man, I appreciate this league. Appreciate you broadcasting and any of your viewers that tuned in. Hopefully, we put on a good show for them. Huge thanks to my team, LaRue Esports, LaRue Snowblowers out of Quebec, Canada. My teammates, Rob Fryery, Nelson, and Matt Martell. Man, we have a lot of fun, and man, just happy to pull off a second place tonight.
Great job tonight, man.
Thanks. Have a good one.
You do the same. John Schweikert enjoying a second place finish here tonight. Congratulations to him. And he gets outran by the 60 car tonight. That momentum continues to carry on. And talking to your teammate there, not Macklin, but Fuller, sorry. Obviously, he said that he kind of seen this coming because obviously you've been a good sim racer for a very long time, and you took that break, come back, and here you are now in victory lane for the second time in, 18 days?
Yeah, that's it's pretty cool to get a win at Darlington, Chris. I got to say that was a good race. Felt like there was a good amount of action and long runs mixed in there, especially there at the end. And just yeah, it's been a while. Been out of sim racing for a little bit. Ran into EJ at Pocono, and he said, "Yeah, come join Sim500." And glad I did. It's been a lot of fun. It's cool racing with the same guys every week. Just a really good bunch here, and just having a lot of fun, man. Just happy to be fast doing it.
Yeah, obviously you come to the league here, you get that win at Dover in the truck a couple weeks ago, and then you come over here to Darlington, and you get them on the long run, basically the longest run of the night you had in this race. But you obviously had to sit back, and I know it probably was easier or harder, I should say, to not push yourself to like go get them, let's go get them. You had to wait and wait and wait.
Yeah, that was we were talking there in the last run. We saw Schweikart getting out there a little bit, and I saw Justin doing what he could to try to keep up with him and catch him. So at that point, there was no pressure from behind, so I just wanted to ride and save my stuff a little bit. And I appreciate the room that Fuller gave me. He let me pass him and going into 3 there, and I wasn't even at his bumper there, so he was really generous with that, so I appreciate it. And that gave me enough time to get back up there, regroup, and go battle John for the win there.
Well, obviously, man, great job tonight. Well-earned victory here, and as you, again, just continue to get your feet wet, basically, and get yourself into victory lane here tonight, send some shout-outs whoever you like to.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks to you, Chris, for putting on this broadcast, NC811 for sponsoring the series. Everyone at Aftermath Motorsports, obviously Fuller. It's been a big help. Everyone over there has been. I was telling Fuller during that race, I was like, the thing I struggle with is long run. It seems like I can be quick in the short run. So, it's just confidence builder, being able to save tires there in the long run there. So, I appreciate the family at home and SpeedwayCollective.com for, being on board.
There you go. Check them out for some fantasy racing picks and stuff like that. So big shout out to them. And Jason, man, nice job here tonight, and way to make us feel a little nostalgic putting that 60 in victory lane.
Hell yeah, appreciate it.
Absolutely, buddy. You too. Jason Karlovage finishing in victory lane here tonight. Congratulations to him as he again becomes another new winner on the Sim500 Xfinity side. But of course, his second win in the series after a win at Dover in the trucks just a couple weeks ago there. So great race. I mean, I know obviously there were a few yellows, a record-breaking amount of yellows. And when I say that, it's not like 30. It's like 5. So obviously had a few yellows, but everybody worked their way through it and had a nice long green flag run there to the end with Jason going to victory lane, getting by Schweikert with 5 to go. And Fuller and Campbell and Mac McMillan finishing in the 3rd position. Points have been updated. And as we continue the carousel of point lead changes in this series, back to the top goes Mac McMillan as he leads the points by 8 over Braxton DeWeese. Miles, the big fall tonight, to 31 points back in 3rd. Mike Kelly 4th. Scott Simley ends up in 5th. And you see there where John Schweikert moved up and then EJ O'Rourke crashed down, but EJ was out at Coda, I believe, working out there the real race, so that's why he wasn't here tonight. Carl Lavage moves up 2 spots to 9th. You see Donaldson and Calatoni kind of hanging there, a couple spots down. Coleman moves up, Simley moves up. A lot of good races still to go here as we look down at Bob Gillenwater, the bubble boy right now by 2 over Hudson. Kevin Stone's right there, Gonzalez, Sigmund, all of these guys right in this window going to be battling for that 16th and final spot come the, end of May, I think, is going to be the end of the regular season. When I look at the regular season schedule here really quickly, this is race number 11 tonight, so officially 8 races left in the regular season. Again, only a 28 race schedule and 20 regular season races. Next race is Daytona on April 7th. The playoffs will actually start at Bristol, of all places. The playoffs, the final regular season race is at Talladega. The first playoff race is at Bristol on June 23rd. So that is where it all shapes up here for everybody. So, all right, let's head home and let's get ready for Rockingham tomorrow night for the Cup Series here presented by 811. Big shout out to those guys for sponsoring both the Cup and the Xfinity Series. A big shout out to all the broadcasters here at Sim500. Remember the Trans Service Truck Series on the track Wednesday nights, and obviously Midnight Thunder and the GOAT Series racing all throughout the week. 7 nights of racing here at Sim500. You can get all the information at sim500.com. And again, big shout out to 811 for the sponsorship of the series. Thank you, viewers, for watching here this evening. We'll be back tomorrow night from Rockingham. Otherwise, remember, this isn't just a game, it's iRacing. See ya!
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, or retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain Esports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for your continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.